So we are reading from the Bhagavad-Gita as it is, 18th chapter. So, yesterday was text number 48. And so Parvati Mataji, so usually she is, or many times she is having devotees to speak on the same verse a few times, especially the important verses. Sometimes 3, 4, 5 days. So yesterday she wanted number 47 to be read the second time. But then somehow the devotees were saying we should read text number 48. And but she has already told all the devotees which verse they have to talk on for the next few days. So she asked me to read text number 48 again. So we'll read text number 48 again together, and then we'll try to speak something about the verse and the purport. So we can always learn more. And even Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur Prabhupada, when he was in Dhaka, in Bangladesh one time, he spoke on the first verse of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Of course, the verse is much longer than these verses here. And that verse is a very important verse. But he was speaking for 2 months on the same verse, on the first verse of the first canto of the first chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam. So we'll read together text number 48. Sahajam karma kaunteya sadosham apina tyajet sarvarambha hi doshena Dhume nagnirivavritah Sajam karma kaunteya Sadosham apinatyajet Sarvarambha hi doshena Dhume nagnirivavritah Sahajam, born simultaneously. Karma, work. Kaunteya, O son of Kunti. Sadosham, with fault. Api, although. Na, never. Tyajet, one should give up. Sarva arambha, all ventures. He, certainly. Doshena, with fault. Dhumena, with smoke. Agni, fire. Iva, as. Avrita, covered. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. Translation. Every endeavor is covered by some fault, just as fire is covered by smoke. Therefore, one should not give up the work born of his nature, O son of Kunti, even if such work is full of fault. Purport. In conditioned life, all work is contaminated by the material modes of nature. Even if one is a Brahmana, he has to perform sacrifices in which animal killing is necessary. Similarly, a Kshatriya, however pious he may be, has to fight enemies. He cannot avoid it. Similarly, a merchant, however pious he may be, must sometimes hide his profit to stay in business. Or he may sometimes have to do business on the black market. These things are necessary. One cannot avoid them. Similarly, even though a man is a Shudra, serving a bad master, he has to carry out the order of the master, even though it should not be done. Despite these flaws, one should continue to carry out his prescribed duties, for they are born out of his own nature. A very nice example is given herein. Although fire is pure, still there is smoke. Yet smoke does not make the fire impure. Even though there is smoke in the fire, fire is still considered to be the purest of all elements. If one prefers to give up the work of a kshatriya and take up the occupation of a brahmana, he is not assured that in the occupation of a brahmana there are no unpleasant duties. One may then conclude that in the material world no one can be completely free from the contamination of material nature. This example of fire and smoke is very appropriate in this connection. When in winter time one takes a stone from the fire, sometimes smoke disturbs the eyes and other parts of the body. But still one must make use of the fire despite disturbing conditions. Similarly, one should not give up his natural occupation because there are some disturbing elements. Rather, one should be determined to serve the Supreme Lord by his occupational duty in Krishna consciousness. That is the perfectional point. When a particular type of occupation is performed for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord, all the defects in that particular occupation are purified. When the results of work are purified, when connected with devotional service, one becomes perfect in seeing the self within. And that is self-realization. Om Ajnana Timidandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurun Militam Yanam Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Sayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Sabadantigam Bandeyam Sri Guru Sri Yatabadakamalan Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Satam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishagan Vidamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dino Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Ganta Radha Kanta Namastude Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshari Vrishabhanu Sude Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Paritanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shivadari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo 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 Hare Hare Sajam karma kanteya sadhu apina tyajet sarvaram bahidoshena dhumena agni rivavritaha. Every endeavor is covered by some fault, just as fire is covered by smoke. Therefore, one should not give up the work born of his nature, O son of Kunti, even if such work is full of fault. So, here Krishna is explaining to Arjuna about the importance of performing one's duty. And that is referring about the Vana ashram. As in the previous verse 47, there it is explained, Swadharma, one's occupation. So, and even if it is imperfectly performed, still, it is better than doing somebody else's occupation and performing it perfectly. So, Prabhupada many times also had explained, especially towards the end of his being on this planet and having established the Krishna consciousness movement worldwide, and also told about the most important activities, especially, of course, chanting the holy names, which is most important. And then, as explained by Srila Rupa Goswami Pad and the previous acharyas, and as explained in the scriptures, then in Kali Yuga, the most important activity is chanting the holy names. It is the Yuga Dharma established by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is none different from Sri Radha and Krishna. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Nahanya. And under his guidance, so the six Goswamis, they have given the process by which we can elevate ourselves to the highest platform of pure devotional service. So there it is explained by Rupa Goswami in the Nectar of Devotion that first of all we have to take shelter of the spiritual master, and then he is explaining what to do and what not to do. And then at the end, as told also by Mahaprabhu, the 5 most important limbs of devotional service. So there it is also explained again that of these 5, chanting the holy names, the Mahamantra, that is most important. But then one has to worship the deities. One has to hear every day the Srimad Bhagavatam or the Bhagavad-Gita. Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. So hearing submissively from the spiritual master, from the devotees, from the speaker, from the person Bhagavat, who is acting according to the scriptures, who has heard from his spiritual master and has applied the knowledge in his life. And then, so we have to associate with the other devotees, especially the senior devotees, the advanced devotees, but even with the general devotees. It is not that simply, oh yes, I take shelter of my spiritual master and I don't have to associate with anybody else. No. We have to be in the Sangha and the association of the devotees. And and then we may live in the holy Dham, Dhamvas. So these are Panchamahatvapurna Ang, the 5 most important limbs of devotional service. And so Prabhupada, he established the temple so that these 5 most important limbs of devotional service could be performed every day. So even one may be in some place other than Vrindavan Dham. It is mentioned Dhamvas or Mathuravas. But staying anywhere in the world, in the temple, so that becomes Dhamvas, because then Krishna is worshipped, and Krishna is always in Vrindavan, in the holy abode. And by chanting the holy names, one is supposed to remember Krishna and the holy Dham. So Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur Prabhupada used to say, without Dham Seva, no Nam Seva. Without remembering or serving the holy Dham, we can never properly chant the holy names. So the holy names are no different from Krishna. And Krishna is always in Braj. And his most perfect form is there in Mathura also and in Dwarka. And Krishna is always perfect. In Dwarka is perfect. In Mathura is more perfect. And in Braj is most perfect. So So by chanting the holy names in pure consciousness, then one is actually residing in the holy Dham. And here in Bhagavatam or Bhagavad-Gita, so then we discuss about Krishna, Krishna's devotees. Especially since we are in the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, we want to hear, we want to speak, we want to serve Krishna in Braj. So on the devotees, if you are in the association of the devotees, they will always speak about Krishna, Krishna Katha. No unnecessary talk, no prajalpa. So these are the most important activities. But then Prabhupada also mentioned that he wanted to establish Varna ashram. As the spiritual master also told his disciples, Daivi Varna ashram. So in Bharatvarsha in India, everybody knows about Varna ashram. And many they try to be situated in that, but many they don't have the proper understanding of the Varna ashram with Krishna in the center. And everything to be done for Krishna's pleasure. And not according to birth. Because in India, mostly, they will say that if you want to be a Brahmana, you must be born in a Brahmana family. And to be a Kshatriya, must be born in a Kshatriya family. So usually it is actually that the children, they will take the nature of the parents. So usually one is born in a Brahmana family, there is every chance that he can be a Brahmana. But it is not assured. So first of all, the parents, they must be properly situated, which even nowadays is not always the case, especially in Brahmana family or the higher families. So nowadays, mostly, actually Krishna is not in the center. In majority of the people's life, or very little, that they are remembering or serving God, and then they are not properly situated actually in the Varna or even the ashram. Because Krishna is not in the center, because they are not acting according to in the instructions of the representative of Krishna, the spiritual master. So, but still, if the proper families are there, Brahmana family, then the good chances are there that the children will be also Brahmanically inclined. But then it depends also on the child, so he has to take the instructions of the parents, and then he has to be in good association, and then he has to endeavor to be properly situated in that occupation of a Brahmana, for example. So some misconceptions are there in Bharatvarsha. And of course, in the Western world, hardly anybody has a proper understanding, especially on that subject matter, and also in terms of God consciousness. But even in the West, actually, the four varnas are there. It is just like the body. And the head is there, and the arms are there, the belly is there, the legs are there. It doesn't matter if one is born in India or America or wherever. Every human being has a head, has arms, a belly and legs. Similarly, the social body is there. In every land, actually, you can see. And even the universal form of the Lord is there. And there in the universal form of the Lord, which is explained in the scriptures, so the Lord has the head is there, and even the original form of the Lord Krishna, he has a head, he has arms, transcendental, and he is the source of everything. But even the universal form, so that is explained in the scriptures. Brahmano samakarisit bahura janyakritha uradadasya daishve padbyagum shudra jayataha. So Brahmana samukam asit. So the Brahmanas are the head of the universal form. And the Kshatras are the arms. The Vaishyas are the belly. and the Shudras are the legs. So in every society it is there. So in India there is some knowledge, and in the West, they have some distorted understanding, but they also understand that those who are intelligent, they will actually lead the society. And there are teachers there in the West, so they are teaching, so they are actually the Brahmanas. And they are very intelligent persons there. But unfortunately, mostly they are not God conscious. Krishna is not in the center, God is not in the center. And then there are people who are expert in administration, or even soldiers are there, so they are kshatriyas. That they are everywhere. And then businessmen, they're also everywhere, all over the world. And those who are not so intelligent, but they are working, they have the ability to work, they are there everywhere. So it is there everywhere. So simply the people, the persons have to be educated. And they have to be guided. Of course, they must accept some authority. They must accept guidance. Then only it is possible to institute Divana Ashram all over the world. But that was Prabhupada's and Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur Prabhupada's desire. Within the society, Vaishnava society, to establish Divana Ashram. So that is required in the society, and even in every temple, of course. There are small temples and bigger temples, but especially in the bigger temples like here, you need the teachers, and therefore we have also the VHE. So the teachers are there, they're teaching the students who are coming, and then the school is there, the teachers are there, and usually we can see previously the king, so he had also Brahmanas, and he was taking the advice from the Brahmanas, but then he had to make the final decision, but he was taking advice, and he knew that it is important to take the help of those who are actually absorbed in the Supreme Lord, the Brahmanas. They are absorbed in Brahman, in the absolute truth. They are studying the scriptures. They are worshipping the deities. They are doing yagyas, sacrifices. And then they are teaching. So according to the instructions then, or he was consulting the Brahmanas in order to make some decision, or to guide the praja, the population. And he himself was taking guidance. So that is required. And then we have the administrators, so the president has to be there, and then usually there's a management also there. Just like the king is there, he has his ministers. He cannot do everything himself. Same way in the bigger temple, the president, he cannot do everything himself, so he has some management, the committee. Like Vrindavan Management Committee, VMC, and Vrindavan MEC, and in Mayapur Administrative Council, right, MEC? Yeah. So like that. So it is necessary. And then we need money also. Lakshmi. Of course, Lakshmi will come if we depend on Krishna, but still some endeavor has to be done also to get some money. Therefore, this life membership program. Of course, the mood should always be there to give knowledge and not to just get money. But we can see even practically, because actually the nature is there. Somehow by hook or by crook they're getting the money, like the businessman. Even the devotees sometimes making life members. So yes, and then the normal people, they want some facility, they want some profit. And the life membership preachers who just want to also make as much money as possible, of course, for the temple, but maybe also just that they can show I'm collecting a lot of money, and then getting some remuneration also. And then even, just like even the businessman, of course, and Prabhupada is explaining, sometimes they will say, for you I'm making no profit. But we know the businessman is always making profit, but he will say, for you I'm making no profit. So So that is there. So even sometimes life, of course, we're trying to be Vaishnavas. Vaishnavas are supposed to be better than the Brahmanas. So with Krishna in the center, doing everything for Krishna's pleasure. But still the nature is there. Or even sometimes you have seen in book distribution or and then in the West also selling some paintings or whatever. And those who have the tendency so to be in that field so they can be successful. And then we have devotees who are actually also doing business. So by buying things and selling like that. So it is there. And then those who are simple and not so intelligent, materially speaking, or not having such a great memory, for example, to remember shlokas and to become teacher or to administrate, they just don't have the quality. But still, everyone has some quality. So even those who are simple and who can do only some seva, and they may be strong to do some physical work also. So and that is actually needed, just like the body. The head is needed, the arms are needed, the belly is needed, and the legs are needed. So if the legs are not there, we cannot move around. It is not nice, it is not comfortable. And we see sometimes people, the leg is cut due to some accident. And they cannot function properly. If due to accident one loses the arm, one arm even, it is difficult to do things. Then one cannot be a pujari if he has only one arm. He cannot ring the bell. So even for example, sometimes we get we eat something and we get diarrhea. So the stomach is not working properly and it is uncomfortable. The body is not able to function properly. So what to speak of the head? If the head is not there, then nothing happens. Or there is chaos. And sometimes it happens also. Even devotees are doing things without thinking properly. So everything is required. So the Brahmanas are required, the Kshatriyas, the Vaishyas and the Shudras. And together, and Krishna in the center, together they will serve Krishna. And then Krishna is satisfied and everyone will be satisfied. And so everyone is needed. Just like in the body, everything is needed. The head, the legs, and everything is needed. So same in the society, in the temple or in the bigger society. So the four varnas are there, created by Krishna, and even they are there in the spiritual world, actually. So even there, Krishna is the Supreme Lord, and in his pastimes, although he is the source of everything, but in the pastime in Golok, it is a place, the world where there are so many cows. And Krishna is the Supreme Lord, but in the pastime he's a cowherd boy. And he's taking care of the cow, although in play only, he's playing. But at the same time, in play also he's taking care of the cows. But then the Brahmanas are there, but Krishna is the center of everyone. And the Brahmanas, they are serving Krishna by reciting the Vedic literatures, by giving blessings to Krishna. And they are blessed by doing that. So we have to, so here the point is that one has to perform one's duty, and even though it may not be performed properly or perfectly, still one should do one's duty. And here the example is given here. So in the 47, verse 47, it is explained about the duty, and one should follow one's occupation according to one's psychophysical nature, and not according to birth. Birth may be there in the Brahmana family, but if one is then not having the nature, then he will not be able to be a Brahmana. Due to various reasons, maybe due to previous impressions, although he is born in a Brahmana family, but he cannot be a Brahmana. Or due to the not complete upbringing, or due to bad association, he may not be able to properly perform the duty of a Brahmana. And then he may have some other occupation. And that may be more suitable for him. He may become a businessman. But if possible, one should try to follow one's nature according to the psychophysical nature. And then if one is then feeling comfortable, then he should do that even if there's some fault. Just like fire, the example is given. So fire is covered by smoke, sometimes, not always. But usually in the beginning, someone will try to light the fire and then there may be some smoke. But then when the fire is nicely burning, there's no smoke. But if one is not careful, and then the wood is burning nicely, but then there's not enough wood, then again smoke may come. Or if there's some wet wood you put inside, then smoke will come. Good example, and I have experience because I'm a priest also. Different activities I'm doing as pujari or priest, and sometimes we have the experience. There's a lot of smoke because the wood was wet, and then nothing you can do, but the smoke is there. And then we have to try to somehow put more ghee, but still if the wood is wet, then the smoke is there. But then one has to simply continue and pray to Krishna. Let the fire not be extinguished, because that is not considered auspicious when you do a yagya. Even in Naimisharanya, they were doing a yagya at the time also when the Bhagavatam was there. Just before that, actually, they were reciting Bhagavatam. So then they were doing yagya and there was smoke there, and so that is there sometimes. It is happening. But one has to do one's duty. So similarly, whatever one may be doing, for example, again, I mean as a Brahmana, so worshipping the deities, and sometimes one may be not so expert in reciting the mantras, especially in the Kali Yuga. The qualified Brahmanas are very rare, who can chant all the mantras properly, who know. Like for example, these verses here. So they all have a specific name also. The name of the meter it is called. Anybody know the meter of the shlokas of Bhagavad-Gita, how they are called? Anushtup. That is known as Anushtup. So sarva dharman parijjaja mamekam sharanam vaja. So then even you can chant in different melodies, but the meter is known as Anushtup. And then for example the Brahma Samhita is there, the verses, or even the first verse of the Shikshashtakam. Cheto darpanam ajanam bhava mahadavagni nirvapanam sheyakairava chandrika vitaranam vidavadu jivanam anandam buddhivadanam pratipadam punam vritasvadanam sarvatma snapanam param vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. So I mean we can chant in this way, but of course just like Brahma Samhita, usually we chant Chintamani prakara sadma sukalpa vriksha laksha vriteshu surabhira vipalayantam, and so on. So the meter is known as Vasanta Tilak. So the Vasant means the spring season, and then Tilak, as we know, this is the Tilak here. It is a decoration on the forehead. So this meter is very beautiful and very famous, very well known. So that is known as such, and certain way how to chant. And there are so many meters actually. Even in Bhagavad-Gita, 2 kinds of meter. Another one is there. But then the Bhagavatam has many verses with so many meters and may be chanted in various ways. 2, 3 melodies may be there. Like Raghunath Bhatt Goswami, he was instructed by Mahaprabhu to remain brahmachari, and actually he was told to take care of his parents until the end of life, and then he may go to Vrindavan and study the Bhagavatam. And then he also told him, you study the Bhagavatam in the association of the experienced devotees, the person Bhagavat, the person who has himself studied under the guidance of his spiritual master, and who has applied the knowledge in his life and living according to that. So that is the person Bhagavat, that is the Brahmana. So he was doing that, and then he came to Vrindavan and he was reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam very beautifully. He was reciting the verses in 1, 2 or 3 different melodies, and the devotees, they used to relish hearing from him. But the Brahmanas who are actually qualified, who are knowledgeable, who are pure, so they are rare. But still, if one has some Brahmanical inclination, then he should then worship the deities, do yagyas, and he should study, and then he should teach to others. Even if sometimes he may not be so expert, like in South India. So there was one Brahmana in Sri Rangam, very beautiful temple there, very famous temple, big temple. Ranganathji is there, Vishnu lying on Lakshmi Devi, big deity, very large. And so there actually there are 7 more walls around the main temple built by the different acharyas there for protection. So it took them quite some time. So there in the temple, so the Brahmanas, they were worshipping the Lord, and in South India, so they are actually from the Sri Sampradaya, and there are 4 Sampradayas. Of course, the Adiguru is Krishna, but then, so Krishna spoke in our Sampradaya to Lord Brahma, and then Brahma spoke to Narada Muni, and then Vyasadev, Madhvacharya, and so on. So, and as explained, Bhagavatam, Krishna spoke to Brahmaji, the essential verses of the Bhagavatam, Chatushloki, and there he was explaining also Jnanam, Param Guyam, Vijnanam Saham Samanvitam. So I'm giving you this knowledge, which is very confidential, and I'm giving you also, with that, the realization will be there, but you have to accept it and you have to apply in your life. So the ingredients I've given you, the process. So first you have to get knowledge, Sambandha Gyan, and then we have to apply the knowledge, and then we have to serve the Lord. So that is the application. We hear how to serve the Lord, and then we serve the Lord, and then we get realization, Vigyan, Abhideya Gyan. So that is the process by which we can make more advancement. Simply hearing is not sufficient, but we have to apply, we have to serve the Lord. And then we get realization, and then we have to continue under the guidance of the spiritual master, then we can make more advancement, and we can come to the highest stage, when the consciousness is purified, and one can realize Krishna within the heart, and then one can see one's own self, as Prabhupada is explaining here, in the last sentence here. When the results of work are purified, when connected with devotional service, one becomes perfect in seeing the self within. And that is self-realization. So realizing the self, Atma Sakshatkar. So direct perception of the self. And Krishna says in this, also in the 9th chapter, Raja Vidya Raja Goyam Pavidam Uttamam Patrakshavam Gyanyam Susukam Kartama Vyayam. So it is most confidential, this knowledge. It is the highest knowledge, the one which I'm giving you, but and by accepting that and applying in your life, then you can realize yourself. So realizing the self means realizing that we are not this body, different from the gross and subtle body, Atma. And then it is not just simply the theoretical understanding, yes, I'm spirit soul, I'm servant of God. But it is the practical realization of the transcendental form of Krishna, Satchidananda Swarup, Tribhanga Shama Sundar, Krishna, his beautiful form bent in 3 places, adept in playing the flute, having a peacock feather in the crown or the turban, Shama Sundar, Ganasham, Megasham, his bodily hue just like a dark blue cloud, wearing a Pitambara Vesh, yellow dhoti and chadar, performing wonderful pastimes with his associates. So the practical realization will be there. And when one sees Krishna, as He is, then one will see ourself also. Our spiritual form, Satchidananda Swarup. And then one will realize our relationship with Krishna. In one of the 5 relationships in Braj, neutral or as a servant. So neutral means, for example, even the animals are there. So it seems to be they have a neutral, it is neutral because they are animals, so the birds, so the trees, but they are such in the Swarup is there. The eternal, full of bliss and knowledge. Although they are in that form, so it appears to be from one point of view, it is neutral because they are in this so-called, from our point of view, species which are usually not talking or walking around and having a relationship with the humans. But in the spiritual world it is different. So therefore all that is explained, there are 5 rasas, relationships with Krishna. So beginning from Shantaras, neutral, and then Dasya, servitorship, and Sakya, friendship, and then Vatsalya, parental affection, and then Madhurya, conjugal. But in other places, many times it is explained there are 4 relationships. And Shanta is not there neutral, because everyone is serving in Braj. And having a loving relationship with Krishna is a transcendental loving exchange with Krishna. And then we can see, by hearing from the sadhus, by reading the scriptures, that actually even the cows and the calves, they have a loving relationship with Krishna. And the cows who are giving milk, they have some motherly affection. They want to give their milk to Krishna. And Krishna is drinking the cow's milk. And then they become so happy. So they have some Vatsalya Bhav. And the calves, they want to play with Krishna. They're small, just like children. They want to play. The calves also, and you can see even now, they're jumping around. Having so much fun, jumping around. But then the cows who are giving milk and the bulls who are a little older, they have to, so they are more grave, so to say. Of course, sometimes they're also jumping around. So even in the spiritual realm. But the feelings are there towards Krishna. So therefore it is explained that Shantaras is actually not really there. Because everyone wants to serve Krishna. And everyone is serving Krishna to their ability. And then there's a relationship and there is an exchange. Krishna is having this loving exchange with the calves, the cows. So the loving exchange is there, even with the trees, with the birds. So the birds are there, even the parrots that is explained. And they are sitting on the branches just like great sages, munis. But actually, so they are, and actually they are greater than the greatest munis in this material world, the birds in Golok, because they are pure devotees. And especially the parrots, so they are glorifying Krishna. The male parrots, they are glorifying Krishna, and the female parrots are glorifying Srimati Radharani. And they all have a name also. Like, anybody know name of the parrots of Krishna? No, Sukh means the Sukh means the male parrot. Sari is the female, but they have a name, like you're a devotee, you're a brahmachari, and you're the Matajis. That is just the external, but then you have name Vidarbha, and here different names are there of different devotees. So same, the birds, different, the parrots, different name. One of the parrot's name is Daksha. Daksha, he's expert in what? His name is expert, Daksha. And he's expert in what? In glorifying Krishna. And there's a female parrot, Manju Bhashini, speaking very sweetly. Speaking what? About Srimati Radharani, glorifying Srimati Radharani. Shobha, auspicious. So they all have different names. Even the cows and the calves, they all have their names. Each cow, each bull has a name. And Krishna knows all of them. 900,000 cows. Greatest memory. Krishna knows everything. And then even other animals are there in Golok. And Radharani has a pet elephant. Yeah. And even it is mentioned, there are 2 dogs. Krishna has 2 dogs. And they have their names also. Vyagra, like a tiger. And the other one is named Brahmaraka. So, and there's a loving relationship there. And they're all pure. Satchidananda Swarup. So in this world, so then the Vanas are there and so the Brahmanas, so we should try their best. So the point was about in South India, so the Brahmanas were there glorifying the Lord and chanting mantras, and they were quite expert. Then they are still expert in South India. Yeah, we were about the 4 Sampradaya also. Brahma Sampradaya, Sri Sampradaya, Narayan, expanded form of Krishna. So the goddess of fortune is there also giving transcendental knowledge. And then the 4 Kumaras, so they got knowledge from Hansavatar, also from Lord Brahma, because they're sons of Lord Brahma. But then they have their own Sampradaya, and then the Rudra Sampradaya, Lord Shiva giving knowledge to his disciples. So in South India the Brahmanas are there, and they are quite expert actually in deity worship also. They are well known. But of course they have the different bhav than in our Sampradaya. They worship with own reverence, Lakshmi Narayan or Sitaram. But they are expert in deity worship and chanting mantras. So Mahaprabhu went there to South India, Sri Rangam, and he saw one Brahmana there. And he was reciting Bhagavad-Gita because his spiritual master told him. But he was not so expert in pronunciation. He was doing some mistakes. And the other Brahmanas, they were laughing. Look at this Brahmana. Yeah, he's not reciting properly. They were laughing at him. But he was simply following the instruction of his spiritual master. So that is another point, important point. So one has to follow the instructions of the spiritual master. Even though it may not be perfect, but if one is following, trying to please Guru and Gauranga and Krishna, then it becomes perfect. So you're following the instruction of his spiritual master of reciting Bhagavad-Gita every day. And he was a Brahmana, so he had to recite the Vedic literatures, the Bhagavad-Gita, and he was doing for the pleasure of the Lord. But there was some imperfection. But he was very fortunate because he was reading and then tears were coming from his eyes. And then, because I was actually, seeing Krishna and Arjuna. And he was just feeling so much happy and seeing, it's so wonderful. Krishna is the Supreme Lord, but he becomes the chariot driver of Arjuna. And especially in India, but even in the West, the big man is sitting in the car, but he's not driving, he has a driver. So especially in the respectable families, even in the West previously, nowadays everyone wants to drive himself. His car, Porsche, BMW, whatever, Mercedes, Rolls-Royce, and he wants to drive himself. But previously, the respectable persons, they had a driver, even in the West, a big man. And in India also, even now in India, respectable person, they will not drive the car. They have a driver. They will not drive. They're there in the back seat and just chanting Hare Krishna. Or reading something or talking to their companion or whatever. So it is a kind of inferior, inferior position. Actually, more like a Shudra. But he was taking that position. Humble position. Krishna is the Supreme Lord, but is perfect and complete. He's the most beautiful, most knowledgeable. He's possessing everything, and he's most renounced. Most renounced also. And dancing with thousands of gopis, but he left all of them. So, but materialistic person, he can never live. Usually they attach to women, materialistic men, and they cannot live. So, but he was leaving thousands of gopis who are most beautiful. They are goddesses of fortune, most beautiful. So he's most renounced. And also, yeah, he's so he's the most humble Krishna. He's most humble. So although he's the Supreme Lord, he became the chariot driver. And he was serving Yudhishthira Maharaj, doing the Rajasuya sacrifice. And he was receiving the guests, all the guests. And he was washing the feet of the brahmanas, of the exalted personalities who used to come. So humble. Sudama Brahmana came to his house. He was washing his feet. So Supreme Lord is most humble. So like that. So when Mahaprabhu was there in South India, and then this Brahmana he saw Krishna becoming the chariot driver. So he was crying. So that is perfection, seeing the Lord. And then with tears in the eyes, due to bliss or due to separation. So then so he got the blessing of the Lord, and he had darshan of Mahaprabhu. The Supreme Lord came to him. And he was asking, why are you crying? And then he explained. So that is there mentioned. So he was a Brahmana, and but he was, there was some fault there, apparently, externally speaking. He was not able to recite properly. But because he was following the instruction of the spiritual master, and he was doing for the pleasure of the Lord, trying his best, he became perfect by doing that. So therefore, so everyone, so actually in this material world, in the conditioned state, everyone actually has some good qualities, some gun, and some dosh will be there, some fault will be there. It is natural in the conditioned state. But the moment becomes pure, then the faults will not be there. Even if apparently there's a fault, there's no fault. Like a pure devotee, sometimes he may do something apparently not right externally, but there's no fault. Even Krishna himself, the Supreme Lord, is perfect and complete. Sometimes he does things which are a little strange and not right. One time he was just so absorbed in remembering Krishna, in remembering Radharani, he wanted to be with Radharani. And he's a cowboy. So he's going to the pasturing grounds, they're coming back, then he's supposed to milk the cows. And he was just absorbed in trying to see Radharani, and then instead of milking a cow, he was trying to milk a bull. So, and others were saying, what are you doing? But Krishna is never wrong. There's no dosh in Krishna. He's perfect and complete. Even is known, Braje Prasidam Navanita Choram Gopangananam Chadukula Choram. Is known as the greatest of thief, Krishna. Stealing is not good. But Krishna is the greatest thief. Stealing butter, stealing the gopis' cloth. And is worshipped as such also. Makkan Chor. Greatest thief. But still, even so, it appears to be that Krishna is a thief, but actually he's not a thief. Even though he's stealing butter, but he's not a thief. Because everything belongs to Krishna. Everything, Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. Everything comes from Krishna, everything belongs to Krishna. And even you go to Braj, I was just another day in one devotee's house, and I was saying, so I was asking, I didn't know if it is his house, if he's there on rent or whatever. I asked him, is your place? He said, no, it's not my place. It is Krishna's. Everybody will say in Braj. All the Brijavasis, they went and say, this is my house, this is Krishna's house. And even so the gopis, they're making butter for Krishna. And actually, they want Krishna to come to their house and take the butter. They're praying. They're thinking, it would be so nice if Krishna would come to my house and take my butter. They love Krishna more than their own children in Golok. So then they're praying, it would be so nice if you would come, Krishna, to my place. And Krishna, yes, okay, you're calling me. So he went there and he's stealing the butter. So fulfilling their desire. But even he's not really stealing, because all the Vrindavan belongs to Krishna, all the houses, they belong to Krishna. Everything belongs to Krishna. Even the butter which they're making, the butter belongs to Krishna. Everything belongs to Krishna. So he's a thief and he's not a thief. So in Tattva Vichara, in consideration of the Absolute Truth, is the Supreme Lord and is complete and perfect. Only in Lila Vichara, in consideration of the pastimes, we call him a thief, like that. And he's the greatest thief, most wonderful, most sweet. So the pure devotees and the Supreme Lord, they're never, there's no dosh in them. They're near dosh, without fault. But the sadhakas who are not yet completely perfect, so they have some good qualities and they have some shortcomings. But we should see the good qualities and we should not see the faults. That is also explained by the acharyas in the scriptures. Just like a bee, the bee will go to the different flowers and take the honey, the nectar. But then the fly is there. The fly will go to the dirty places. Or if you have some sore here, they will go there, try to get something there. So we should be, the devotee should be bee-like, only see they get the good, the nectar from the flowers, and the devotees are like flowers. Just see the good qualities in the devotees, and not see the faults. Of course, if you are in a position, for example, the parents, they have to correct the children if they do something wrong. But with love and affection, and encourage them always. And if there's some fault is there, they have to correct, but with love. But then have to also try to encourage them. Same, the spiritual master, so he has to sometimes correct the disciples or chastise them. But he's encouraging them also. Same, so in any position, if somebody is under somebody's cares, then so they have to see the faults also. But otherwise we should try to see the good qualities. Yeah, so everyone has to perform his duty according to his nature, and especially according to the instruction of the spiritual master, because the spiritual master is expert and he knows the psychophysical nature of the disciple, or sometimes due to the necessity will engage the disciple in a certain way. And then by following the spiritual master, then one will become perfect. Because the spiritual master is a representative of the Lord. And through him, so the mercy of the Lord is coming. So simply by following the instruction of the spiritual master and trying to please Krishna, then one can become perfect in spiritual life, and then attain self-realization, which is actually the goal of life, as Prabhupada is explaining in the last sentence. So Atma Sakshakar, so that is the goal. Direct perception of the self, not just theoretical understanding, but practical. But it will take time. It is not so easily achieved, a perfection in life, but it is possible. But for that one has to be very sincere, very serious, and always try to please Guru Gauranga and Krishna and the Vaishnavas. And then one may become perfect in due course of time. It is actually guaranteed that one will become perfect if one is taking shelter of the spiritual master, but it may take some time. But so Utsan Nishchadharya Tatta Karma Pravartanat Sato Sangatyaga Sato Vrite Sadbir Bhakti Prasiddhati. One has to always remain enthusiastic, fixed, that I have to attain the goal. But then Dharya, one has to be very patient and understand it will take some time. Tatta karma pravartanat, but always engage in devotional activities. Asat sangatyag, give up the unwanted, unfavorable association of materialistic persons, or even of neophyte devotees who are criticizing others, or who are engaged in too much sense gratification. So that should be avoided. But then satovrite, but be in the association of the advanced devotees, those who are properly situated, then bhakti prasiddhati, then bhakti becomes complete, one can become perfect. And the most important activity is always chanting the holy names. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Any questions or comments? Yes.
In the Kali, what benefit
In Kali Yuga, what benefit is there? In Kali Yuga, benefit of being in Kali Yuga? No benefit in being in Kali Yuga. It is most degraded time is the Kali Yuga. But still, Asti eko mahan gunan, kale dosheni de rajan asti eko mahan gunan. Kirtanirvi Krishna samukta sangha parambrajet. Kale dosheni de rajan, the Kali Yuga is an ocean of fault. There's not a long life, and the people, due to the environment, they don't have a sharp intelligence, they don't have good memory, they don't have and the environment is not conducive for spiritual life. Like you can see even here Vrindavan, it is most holy place. But I was here since 1980. At that time it was so beautiful. Even now it's beautiful, but at the same time, you know, you have the almost skyscrapers and the traffic jam, pollution, so much dust and pollution is there. It is some kind of austerity now, but still it is pure, but still. And there's a covering there also, but like 1980 when I first came, so there were hardly any cars here, no big buildings here, nice fresh air. Jamuna river was so beautiful. We used to drink the water, crystal clear, you could see the ground. Now it is all black. And we do pranam to Yamuna Devi. And usually I only go to take bath when I have to do some ceremony of immersing the ashes of somebody. Otherwise, Hare Krishna. What to speak of wanting to drink the water, no question. But when I first came here, we were drinking the water. Sweet, pure. And doing parikrama of Vrindavan, sand, Raman Reti. So beautiful, so soft sand. A little easier to remember Krishna. No plastic bag, no plastic bottles. Hardly any car used to come. Only maybe Saturday, Sunday. Hardly anybody had a car here in Vrindavan. Only one kind, ambassador was there, sometimes coming. And then the Maruti van came. And now so many cars and traffic jam Saturday, Sunday. And hardly any phones. And, one phone was here in the guest house. One was at the post office. Otherwise no phone. Only rich people had a phone. Landline, no mobile at that time. And to make a call was also quite something. Trunk call. We had to try to call and then you had to wait for the connection. Many times it didn't go through. So, but life was going on without phone. And it was quite sweet. Of course, even now it is sweet, but at the same time, the covering is there much more. So that is the influence of Kali Yuga. And but still there's the one good quality, that is simply by chanting the holy names of the Lord, you can get the highest perfection. So that is the causeless mercy of the Supreme Lord, of Krishna, of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So the Sri Chaitanya Mukund Kirna Hare Krishna Tivana Kamajanta Jagapremi Vijayate Tat Avayaha. So I emanated from the lotus flowers of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Mahamantra. And it inundated this whole material world. Of course, even before they were chanting the Mahamantra, and but even in South India, worshipping Ram, or even the Mayavadis trying to merge in the absolute truth. But Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he came, of course, before also Madhavendra Puri came and he planted the seed. He had the conception of the Braj Bhav, and he was trying to give that also. So he was planting the seed practically. But then Mahaprabhu, he actually gave that. And by the way, we're talking about the trees in Braj. So Madhavendra Puri, who is the Acharya, the spiritual master, Mahaprabhu's spiritual master, is a Kalpavriksha tree in Golok. He's a tree. But he can walk around, he can talk. And he has 5 fruits are there. Shanta Dasya, Sakya Vatsalya Madhurya Ras, he can give. So he can give Madhurya Ras, he's a tree. That means he has Madhurya Ras too. Otherwise, how he can give? So, with material consciousness to understand it, it is not really possible. But we try to appreciate what is mentioned by the acharyas, and then you chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And then you serve Hari Guru Vaishnavas, and then you can have some realization, and everything becomes very clear. So then simply by chanting the Maha Mantra, then you can see Krishna as he is while chanting. And then you can see the pastimes. Everything is there in the Maha Mantra. It is, the Swarup of Krishna is there. Radha Krishna there. Mahaprabhu is there. And all the Leelas are there. It is mentioned there, all kinds of Leelas are there of Krishna. Ashtakalya Leela in Golok Vrindavan, day and night time what Krishna is doing, that is explained by the acharyas. From morning till night. And the first Hare Krishna, that is the first part of Krishna's time, pastimes in the spiritual realm. Then the second Hare Krishna is the second part of the pastimes of Krishna. Like this, that the acharyas have explained. So everything is there in the Maha Mantra. But we have to chant without offenses. And then when we get Nam Ruchi, Nama Bhas, the clearing stage, then the things become clearly, slowly but surely. And then you can see that Krishna Nama are not different. And you can vaguely see Krishna and something of the pastimes. Some remembrance is there, but it is not perfect. But then on the platform of Shuddhanam, then you can actually see Krishna and Krishna's pastimes. In the beginning stage, you have to try to sometimes remember Krishna while you chant Hare Krishna. Because the consciousness is not pure. It is not coming, the form is not coming. But then we may pray and try to remember the deities, try to remember what we have heard about Krishna, but still concentrating on the hearing, on the speaking and chanting the Maha Mantra. But we are not Mayavadis, we don't want to merge into the Brahma Jyoti, but we want to go to Golok. So we have to remember Krishna ultimately. And it is mentioned, always remember Krishna. Always remember Vishnu. So even while chanting, you're supposed to remember, especially while chanting, you're supposed to remember Krishna. Krishna's form, Krishna's pastime. So for that we have to see the deities, we have to serve the deities, we have to hear about Krishna. And then you have to sincerely chant and serve. Then you chant and serve, you pray, then you get some mercy, then becomes a little better, then you have to continue begging for mercy and serving. And then you can come to a higher stage. And the clearing stage is there, something, it will be revealed slowly. And in the perfect stage, and as soon as you chant Hare Krishna, Krishna will be there. And then the pastimes will be there. But then sometimes Krishna may disappear. Even from the pure devotee's heart. When they see Krishna, they feel so much transcendental pleasure, so much so that tears may come from the eyes. And in bliss, when the tears are coming, they are cooling, they are cool. But then Krishna disappears also when the devotees are chanting. And then they are chanting, then they are crying like Mahaprabhu or the six Goswamis. Hey Radhe Brajadevike Charalite Nanda Suno Kutaha. Where are you, Krishna? Where are you, Radha? Lalita Vishaka. And they are crying, feeling separation. And then tears are coming. And they will be hot because of separation, fire of separation. And then Krishna will appear again. So that is in the perfect stage. So they can directly see Krishna. And then he may disappear, but then he will appear again. So we have to try. So that is the good quality of in the Kali Yuga, that simply by chanting the holy names, you can come from the lowest, or from the Kala Shudra Sambhavaha. In Kali Yuga, everyone is actually fallen. But still, even from the fallen position, you can come to the highest position. So that is the greatness of Kali Yuga. Even in other yugas, Satya Yuga, not so many they are going to Braj. Mostly they go to Vaikuntha. Still some may go to Braj, but it is not so much there. Mostly Vaikuntha Bhav is given, as we can see. But in Kali Yuga, especially when Krishna, after Krishna comes, and when Mahaprabhu comes, that is once in the lay of Lord Brahma, then Braj Bhav is freely given. In other Kali Yugas also, before or after, it is rarely attained, Braj Bhakti. But when Swayam Bhagavan Krishna is coming, and then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is also Swayam Bhagavan, no different from Radha and Krishna, then Braj Bhakti is freely given. And those who are fortunate, they will accept it. And from a low position, they can come to the highest position and attain Braj Bhav, Braj Bhakti, and enter the pastimes of Krishna. So that is the perfection of life. So, but it may take some time. Hare Krishna. Okay, the 6:30, it's time for Atik. Hare Krishna. So we have some Mahaprasad for everyone. You have a question? Okay, you can ask the question.